This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're at the Jake Paul and Anderson Silva press conference. Delighted to be joined by Ariel Helwani. How are we, sir? You know, you've been involved in some great, massive combat, mixed martial arts, boxing events. How does this one compare?
This is great. And by the way, great to talk to Boxing Social. I've been on before, great YouTube channel that I enjoy. This is fun. Anderson Silva obviously means a lot to us in MMA, and it's great to see a lot of MMA media here, but also nice to see boxing media here. So it's always an honor and a privilege for me to be a part of it, and I can't wait for Saturday.
I just spoke to Stephen a moment ago, and I mentioned about his long-term plan with Jake, and I don't know if you attended. Yes, I don't think you attended the media workout yesterday, but seeing the crowd, seeing the interest, the audience, it's surely good for the sport, isn't it?
I would like to think so. I think there are some old school guys who think otherwise, but I would definitely like to think so. I think it's good for MMA. I think it's good for boxing. This card has something for everyone, right? There's the hardcore boxing fans are covered, the MMA fans are covered, the social media. There's something for everyone, which I appreciate. So it's giving opportunities. It's giving good paydays to boxers. Why would you hate this, right?
You said that Jake Paul's got the formula to beat MMA fighters. Just talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, a lot of the MMA fighters that he has fought against don't have a history, don't have a background in boxing. Anderson's different. Anderson has boxed before. He's got some pretty solid wins on his resume. So I think that he had the formula. I don't know if he has the formula for Anderson. Anderson, southpaw, experience, history. He's not going to be fazed by any of this. So I'm really curious to see how it plays out.
Stephen did say that this is a dangerous fight for Jake. We understand it's dangerous. Silva's an absolute legend in the game. But is it strategic from Jake to pick a big name at such an old 47's an old age, isn't it?
Yeah, but honestly, who else was out there? I think it was strategic to pick another MMA fighter, and who was out there that was comparable to Anderson Silva in terms of name value? There weren't that many names. So I think it was his only option, especially after the two boxing matches that he had booked against actual boxers fell through. So he had to go to old reliable, and that was MMA. So I can understand that. I know people will bring that up if he wins, but who else was out there? There weren't a lot of great options for him.
There's no beef between the fighters. It's the names that sell itself, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. The legacies, the names, the resumes, all that stuff. I mean, it's Anderson Silva. It's Anderson Silva. I mean, what more do you need? Jake. I'm curious to see how Uriah looks. Dr. Mike is an interesting dude. So, there really is something for everyone. And that
seems like one of your favorites, Dr. Mike.
I like him. Isn't he very nice? I mean, he's a lovable, salt-of-the-earth kind of guy. I could listen to him speak. I'm actually really a big fan of his. He's the kind of guy that you want to bring home to mom, right?
My mum commented on my interview I did with him. Said, that's the only one she's commented on. I've interviewed Jake Paul, Anderson Silva in the scrum. The first one she commented on was, that was really nice with Dr. Mike. So he's a fan favourite.
Very likable guy, very charming guy. I really, really enjoy him a lot. We'll see, how good he is. He's fighting a tough guy, but he's much bigger than him. I mean, Chris Avila has not fought at 85. He has not fought over 68. So he's going to have a size and reach advantage. But yes, charming man.
Who's favourite in the main event?
Well, right now the betting favourite is Jake Paul. So I guess you have to go Jake Paul. I can't make a pick because I'm working on the broadcast, so I don't want you to get me in trouble.
I won't do that. Moving on to other things within boxing and sports. This is a boxing channel, obviously. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, doesn't look like that's happening. Just get your thoughts on that one, mate.
Yeah, very disappointing. Boxing has had a great year, and they were making the big fights, and it kind of ended on a sour note. Also, Fury and Fury and Joshua not happening. How about the women getting the big fights done and not the men, right? Katie Taylor, shout out to her, the greatest female fighter of all time, also competing this weekend. And we had Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields and Baumgartner and Mayer. We've had some big women's fights, so pretty cool to see the women step up to the plate, although now I want to see the rematch between Taylor and Serrano as well. So we'll see if they make that happen next year for Croke Park. But yeah, no, I think it's been a great year. Unfortunate ending. Hopefully we'll get it in 2023.
I was fortunate enough to go to the press conference of Chisora Fury 3. Frank went down the list you may have seen on BoxRec, seeing who was available. What did you make of that fight? I think people in America are probably more upset with that fight than people in England.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Fury White was a big deal in England, not so much in America. This one seems the same, but it's a trilogy. We've seen it twice. I really wanted to see Fury Usyk, and then I really got excited about Fury Joshua, and then we, went back to this. I guess I'm just happy that Fury's not retired yet, right? Yeah. That he's still sticking around, that he's still, going to fight, and hopefully next year we get to see him fight, Usyk. I feel like that's a fight that everyone wants to see. It could be one of the biggest fights in heavyweight boxing history.
I think that will be next year around the spring, hopefully for that fight. But in the US, where we are right now, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. So talks are positive. To my knowledge, again, I could be wrong, reports are saying that the only barrier at the moment is the broadcasting. Yeah. Tank and Garcia, obviously with DAZN, etc. Just tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we also heard that they were close to making Spence and Crawford a done deal. So I'll be excited when I see them at a press conference, right? Yeah, I mean, it would be a horrible look for boxing if that's like 3 big fights that fall by the wayside. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I would love. I think that could do over 1 million buys, to be honest. I really think it could be a massive, massive pay-per-view.
If not, this will be the biggest pay-per-view of the year, will it?
Isn't that crazy? And then Jake Paul will be a fighter of the year, knockout of the year, all that crazy stuff. The boxing community will blow their minds. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, Fury and White was a big deal in terms of attendance. But yeah, pay-per-view-wise, this could be it.
Finally then, over in England, I don't know if you are aware over here, but the Conor Benn situation, he has relinquished his boxing licence. Now we know there's 2 failed VADA tests pending an investigation. Just to get your thoughts on that one.
Total mess. Thank God they didn't do the fight and it didn't go forward. It was a mess of a week, a mess of a situation, a rare Eddie Hearn L, as they say. Unfortunately for him, he tried to salvage it. But yeah, I mean, you go from Benn about to fight in this massive, this massive deal that I think captured the imagination and the attention of the entire country to now his legacy, his career, everything is in question. So very, very unfortunate. And ultimately, Chris Eubanks Sr. was right? You should listen to Dad. He knew that something was amiss, and they should have listened to him.
Finally, then, why would Conor relinquish his titles? What's the actual message, and what is he actually trying to do with that?
I mean, that's something for him to answer, but it does seem like there's a lot more. I don't know. There's a lot more trouble ahead for him. There's a lot more heartache ahead, and they tried to sugarcoat the initial test, but now the second and all that stuff, it's truly a mess of a situation, and you hate to see it. Very unfortunate, but why are you going to pay for VADA and not use it, right? Like, why are you going to pay for it and not adhere to it? So I'm happy to see that they are, adhering to it, and we'll see what happens.
Ariel, again, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow, and obviously Fight Night.
Thank you.